is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy HMK once again, and today is truly a momentous day for multiple reasons. I know you read the title, but we gotta do a little bit of celebration because today is March 3rd. It is 8 years since the Nintendo Switch has graced our presence and changed our lives forever. I can't believe it's been 8 years since this glorious little engine that could have a console has changed my life and my content for the better. And of course, along with the Switch, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild released 8 years ago today that became a landmark not only in Zelda, but in gaming. That Zelda is known for paving the way and leading the path when it comes to gameplay ideas, functions that will be followed by other games to come in the years since 8 years ago. So I mean, of course, big celebrations around. Remember this video? But with that being said, it's been 8 years since this console, and the dawn of a new dawn is fast approaching when it comes to the successor of the Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch 2. The Direct is happening 30 days from now, legit. Countdown, mark your calendars, we're gonna have a countdown, big countdown on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all that good jazz. 30 days up until the Direct, which is happening the 2nd of April, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, our time and whatnot. And I've got big plans going into that Direct and for the Direct itself, including a bunch of content, almost rapid fire from now up until the day. And of course, multiple dedicated episodes of The Fifth Dimension with a lot of awesome guests. And the stream itself, I'm considering doing a 12-hour stream going into 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the day before April Fool's Day. Stay safe out there. I mean, but April Fool's is statistically like the safest day of the year. But when it comes to this big ass event, because I mean, it's going to be a Direct. It's not going to be like the Nintendo Switch presentation event that happened in Japan. It's going to be something more controlled by Nintendo. I don't think they're going to have like a venue or anything if it's going to be all digital. But I do believe it's going to be a big, massive, chunky event, and it's going to be the best Nintendo Direct that we've ever seen because it's being called a Nintendo Direct. Here are things that you can expect, that I predict when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that's happening in 30 days. Of course, we have to think about features. What is going to be set apart from the Nintendo Switch 2 from the original Nintendo Switch? Of course, the mouse feature, additional stuff like possibly that of menu themes. Like, please, I would pay money for that. More robust online features that's going to be a lot better for the Switch 2, because I mean, like, as much as I love the Switch, the online for the Switch leaves a lot to be desired. So I hope Nintendo has some more dedicated aspects when it comes to how the games will play online and with each other, and how we'll be able to connect and maybe possibly connect to your smartphone in good ways, not in the ways like, hey, let's get on TeamSpeak, or let's get on Discord, or let's get on Skype. Skype is actually going down, but you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, they'll announce things that, Nintendo will finally catch up towards in terms of online interconnectivity, and of course, of how the games play, run, and the way you're able to, get into them. Now, of course, something that a lot of people have been talking about, that's something that, people want to see, want to hear about, want to learn more about, is the power of the Nintendo Switch. Now, knowing Nintendo and the way they do their stuff in terms of like presentations and whatnot, I feel they're going to talk very, very minimally about the power, and then they're going to be like more show, not tell type, deals in terms they're going to be like, oh, the Nintendo Switch 2 uses a proprietary custom NVIDIA chip, and that's probably the most they'll ever talk about it. But I feel that a lot of things are going to coincide in Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct, in which they're going to be prepping other outlets and media personnel in terms of having a media blitz, in which those individuals and those websites and outlets will be able to give us like a list of specs when it comes to the specifications of what the Switch can do in terms of power. Now, of course, power can only get you so far. What we need to talk about is the games. games. I feel Nintendo is sitting on a lot, and I mean a lot of cool projects that we know very little about or nothing about. Like, the only thing we do know when it comes to games coming to Nintendo Switch 2 from Nintendo specifically is Mario Kart 9, Mario Kart 10, the new Mario Kart whatever. And then other games coming to Nintendo Switch 2 is like, oh, third party saying like, oh, this game is coming to Nintendo Switch 2. It's coming to Nintendo Switch 2. All that good jazz. So I feel like Nintendo really has like us in the palm of their hands in terms of like getting us hyped and, you know, unleashing the curtain of all these cool titles. A new Mario, a new Zelda, and maybe a remastered Zelda. Hey, listen, if it's a new Zelda, cool. If it's like Zelda Ocarina of Time remake, cool. If it's like, people have been saying whispers about Breath of the Wild remaster, I'm like, I'm not too sure about that. But I mean, like, if Zelda is talking about, hey, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker HD on Switch 2, let's get it. That's what I want. And then other games, people are talking about the possibility of seeing anything Smash Bros. Related. I'd rather not have a Smash Bros. Ultimate Deluxe. It's backwards compatible. So if you want to play Ultimate, play it on the Switch 2, right? If they're going to do anything Smash related and, you know, work on the next one, but if it's going to be announced at the Direct, I don't think so if they're going to be working on the next one. Because, I mean, it's been 8 years, so I feel like, 8 years since the console. It's been like, 7 years. About to be 7 years since Smash Ultimate, so we're due for another one. And of course, Metroid is back in the forefront. Metroid Prime 4 is coming to the Switch, and so it's probably going to come to Switch 2 or, backwards compatible. But I would like to see a new Metroid game. Well, not a new Metroid game, but like the fact that Metroid is so back that, they have plans for Metroid. Star Fox, F-Zero, please. Yo, Xenoblade, because Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming out this month. I'm just, hey, listen, when it's out about and that new story comes out and I'm like, hey, man, you're going to be setting up Xenoblade Chronicles 4 or something like that? I'm like, let's see what they got in store. Or maybe a new game directly from Monolith Soft. That would be cool. And of course, other aspects and rumors, including that of a new Fire Emblem or a Fire Emblem remake of Path of Radiance, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, all the big, franchises of Nintendo. And, if they decide to bring back a dormant franchise or bring in a new IP, that'd be cool as well. But what would be really cool is third-party exclusive Nintendo Switch games are like either, exclusive or timed exclusive. It's like, oh, this is built with the Nintendo Switch 2 in mind, or released first for Nintendo Switch 2. When it comes to like partners like Square Enix, Capcom, Bandai Namco, Konami, all that good jazz. That'd be really cool to see how they bring something. It's like, hey, come on down to the Switch 2. And speaking of third-party games, I feel there's going to be a segment within the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation, the Direct or whatnot. It's not going to be called this, because of course Nintendo wouldn't call something like this, but it's something I like to call Games Now Possible on Nintendo Switch 2. And what I mean by that is games like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, we call it Zelda Zone Zero, Weather and Waves possibly, Resident Evil 2, 4, Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, Elden Ring, Night Rain, and all those amazing games on other consoles that before weren't really possible on Switch unless you wanted to do a cloud version. I'm like, no more cloud version. I love Cloud Strife. No more cloud version. No more of this hanky-panky and banana bullshit. I'm done. Kingdom Hearts, all of it. But in terms of other games like that, I also want to see if Nintendo aims to talk about or even give us the idea of these games like Breath of the Wild, like Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3, all those games play better on Switch 2. I wonder if we're going to have a segment about that where it's like, oh, either an increased frame rate or the fact that if the Switch 2 is 4K compatible, not 4K native compatible, in which is upscaling from 1080p or 900p, depending on the game, 1080p to 2600p, or maybe 144p, 144.0p, not 144, 144.0p, makes it look better, crisper, and blah, 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 and maybe talk about those things, because I feel that the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation as a whole, in terms of its technology and specifications, is going to be, I wouldn't say glossed over, but not spoken in detail by Nintendo themselves. Like I said earlier in this video, they're probably gonna, talk about or, present the specs to other specific key personnel that the media blitz is going to show. It's like, oh, so the Switch 2 utilizes this type of screen, it utilizes this type of technology, it utilizes this much RAM, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And then if there are more games that are in the pipeline for Nintendo Switch 2 when it comes to first party or third party, I would like for Nintendo to, like, you know, do one of their things like, hey, check it out, third party partnerships, third party developer partnerships that plan to, you know, contribute games to Nintendo Switch 2. And it's a bunch of list of like developers like Capcom, WB, Capcom, Bandai Namco, Konami, Square Enix, all these other people, maybe even you'll see like Xbox Game Studios, things like that. You know, it'll be really cool to see all of them there. It's like, oh, they plan to bring these games and maybe go a step further or plan to bring these franchises to Switch 2. And it shows a list of franchises with their logos and stuff. And I'm gonna be like, Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, and of course, I feel the last thing, the last two things that this Direct would have is before the last game. I feel they're gonna end off on a big game that's like, oh my goodness, like to give you guys an idea of what I feel be an earth-shattering title, despite what you guys may think about certain games. Like I had 3 in my mind, or like 4 in my mind, whatever. All right, so like Mario Odyssey 2, the next Mario game, or Mario Galaxy 3. Ocarina of Time remake, the next Zelda game, or Breath of the Wild 3, a game after Tears of the Kingdom, because like, listen, I got one more in me. I got one more in me. Xenoblade Chronicles 4, but that's gonna be like the last thing, right? They're gonna end off on a big ass game note, right? But before that, they're gonna do release date and price, right? And I'm thinking, considering what we know about the hands-on events that are going on, the last one is happening in Seoul, South Korea in June. So I feel this thing is going to come out in June, right? Summer. And then price, I would love it to be like $400. 450 I'm still keen on. 500 is pushing it. Anything beyond that, I'm like, oh. Because we were like, oh no, it has to compete in terms of pricing with PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series, whatever. And then like, oh, if it's gonna be powerful, it has to, like, listen, I get all that in terms of someone from the outside looking, but as a Nintendo fan, seeing all the stuff Nintendo's done, and from what they said in interviews, they'd be like, oh yeah, we have to like consider competitive pricing depending on the region, but we also have to consider that people know Nintendo for the affordability of these games and prices. And like I always said, Nintendo is definitely the company. Nintendo's definitely the company to sell something like this, like a Switch 2, sell something like this at a loss or a small loss, or maybe even a tiny profit, They're willing to do that if that means they have a gorilla grip on your wallet for the next 8 years, because that's the long run they're looking for. Absolutely. Especially when it comes to the casual market. All right. But that's what I'm thinking so far about predictions, and I'm ready, I'm psyched, I'm hyped. I know you guys are ready for the possibilities of the new, 8 years and the next console. It feels a lot longer since we didn't really have like an inter-console, like a handheld, like a 3DS or a DS, right, like that. So I mean, like, oh, everything's coming together. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be grand. So I hope you guys are ready for that, and I hope you guys are ready for the plans, right? With that being said, be sure to like, share, most importantly, subscribe to HMK, and comment what you're excited for the Switch 2. Until then, this has been your boy HMK, and I'll check you guys later.